Trump attorney Evan Corcoran has become the latest Trump attorney to have to hire their own attorneys due to ongoing legal problems. Specifically, Evan Corcoran, as we all know, is the individual who drafted the document signed by other Trump lawyer Christina Bobb, saying back in June or July of last summer they had turned over every single classified document that Donald Trump had in his possession at Mar-a-Lago. End of story. You've got it all. Don't worry about it. And then, of course, the FBI had to go down there and they found all the boxes that Mr. Corcoran's letter seemed to have forgotten about. So now the DOJ is trying to tell a court that they need to invoke the crime fraud exception to attorney-client privilege so that they can get their hands on all of the communications between Evan Corcoran and Donald Trump. So Corcoran, since he is now involved in that legal battle, has had to hire his own attorneys, and he is now, in the last 6 years, the 8th Trump attorney to have to hire their own attorneys. He joins the likes of Michael Cohen, Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, John Eastman, Alina Habba, Lin Wood, and of course, Christina Bobb. All of those lawyers at one point in their careers thought, you know what? It's going to look really good for me if I have on my resume that I successfully represented Donald Trump in whatever case it was. And it didn't end well for any of those lawyers that I just mentioned. Some of them still having ongoing legal problems. Others have been sanctioned by the courts. Some, of course, are in danger of losing their law licenses altogether. And now Mr. Corcoran joins their ranks. So the big question, of course, is why the DOJ wants to get their hands on those communications, why they want to invoke that crime fraud exception to get rid of attorney-client privilege. And I think the answer to that is fairly clear. What they're looking for is any kind of communication between Corcoran and Donald Trump, with Donald Trump telling them, you'd better tell the DOJ that you've turned everything over, even though we know we have these other things here. So basically, it would be a form of perjury, because this was a sworn document, which means lying on that document is no different than walking into a court and lying. So if Trump instructed Corcoran to lie, then not only do you bust Corcoran on it, but you can also bust Donald Trump on it. And that's the connection that they're trying to make, and it's a connection that would likely only exist on paper within the documents, the communications that Corcoran has between himself and Donald Trump. But again, 8 lawyers in 6 years have had to hire their own lawyers, all because they chose to work with or for Donald Trump. Now, I got to tell you, I have worked in a law firm for almost 20 years now. There are dozens and dozens and dozens of lawyers here. Not once in nearly 2 decades have I known of a single instance where any of these lawyers had to hire another lawyer. The only hiring of lawyers that goes on is when they bring on another associate. This is unprecedented for 8 different lawyers to have to hire their own lawyers to defend them just because they got involved with one guy. So if you are a lawyer out there, and we know that Trump recently brought in Tacopina, to kind of take over what his idiot lawyers had done, Mr. Tacopina, you may want to go ahead and go reserve a lawyer for yourself, because it hasn't ended well for anybody else. Anybody else. This is what he does. He takes somebody that may be a professional, that may at one point have been a normal person, and he drags them down to his level and then throws them under the bus at the first sign of trouble. That is not just a lesson, by the way, for Mr. Tacopina. It's a lesson out there for any lawyer considering taking on Donald Trump as a client. You will not get a happy ending. And based on what we've seen, you'll probably be lucky to even walk away with your law license when Trump is done with you. One of today's video sponsors is Mosh, makers of protein bars that boost your body and your brain. If you're busy during the day or just constantly on the go, you need to try Mosh. It's a protein bar that's made for your brain. Sometimes it can be difficult to stick to a good schedule and eating right, and it's easy to reach for a bag of greasy chips or even a candy bar. But Mosh is a great tasting, nutrient-packed bar that will help get rid of those midday cravings while avoiding those calorie-heavy snacks. With 6 delicious flavors, each Mosh bar comes packed with 12 grams of protein and brain-boosting ingredients like ashwagandha, lion's mane, collagen, and omega-3s. And at 160 calories and only 1 gram of sugar, Mosh protein bars are the guilt-free snack your brain and body will crave. Your brain is your #1 tool, which is why Mosh protein bars were expertly formulated by top neuroscientists and functional nutritionists to support optimal brain health. Founded by Patrick Schwarzenegger and Maria Shriver, Mosh is a mission-driven company with a portion of all proceeds donated to support women's brain health research through the Women's Alzheimer's Movement at Cleveland Clinic. Mosh has been super helpful for me because I get up extra early each day, which leaves a big gap between breakfast and lunch. So I can reach for a Mosh bar in the mid-morning, help boost my body and my brain, and avoid going for a heavier lunch. So don't settle for a mediocre snack when you can nourish your body and mind with the fuel it needs to succeed. So whether you're at the gym, on the go, or just living your best life, Mosh protein bars will keep your brain and body fit, fueled, and feeling good. So head to moshlife.com/ROF to save 20% off plus free shipping on your first 6-count trial pack. That's 20% off plus free shipping on your first 6-count trial pack, which includes all 6 mouth-watering flavors. moshlife.com/ROF, or just click at the link below in the video description.